Hey, welcome everybody. It is Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Time for Sci-Fi Distill. Welcome back, Mary Beth. How you doing?
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
That's all we can do.
All we can do. So this week we're going to talk about the big news out of AwesomeCon, which was the Firefly animated show
Yes.
reboot, whatever we want to call it. We're going to talk
Yes.
about that, and I think before we're going to, of course, give you a Galileo project update.
Of
But
course.
before we do that, we're going to do news. So let's do the
Hey,
news.
news. I got all kinds of news. I have a metric ton of news. So let me see if I can't fly through some tidbits before I start doing the ones that I ask Rizzo his opinion on. All right, tidbits tonight. HBO's White Lotus has added Max Greenfield, Kumail Nanjiani, and some more to season 4 cast. I'm glad that's coming back. HBO's Last of Us has added Jason Ritter and Patrick Wilson, both of whom I'm like for their season 3. I'm looking forward to that. Hulu has renewed Paradise for season 3, but it will likely be its final chapter. A Quiet Place 3 is ready to go at Paramount with Emily Blunt and Cillian Murphy. Dune 3 and Avengers Doomsday come out on the same day, December 18th. Fans are already predicting another Barbenheimer situation, if you guys remember that from last year. And last tidbit, a new trailer for Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord. It does include Sam Witwer again as Maul, and it will be on Disney on April 6th. Rizzo. So tonight, Rizzo, before I get to these other news things, tonight it's kind of what was Hollywood thinking? So what was Hollywood thinking? The peeps over at Starfleet Academy that you were just pitching about have already told us that season 2 will end with a cliffhanger. So if they don't get renewed, we're just SOL. What do you think, Rizzo? Is that strategic or dumb?
It's optimistic on their part.
Very optimistic.
Honestly, I don't know what their numbers
Very.
are. I don't know if Paramount considers it doing well. If you look at the analytics of the show as it's gone on, apparently it's not doing that well.
I don't think so either.
There's a lot of people, like, I've heard, influencers, if you want to call them that, have suggested, honestly, they should just cut their losses with it. They've already done the second season, so it's already paid for. Drop it. Don't even do the once a week. Just drop the whole thing all at once and let it go and call it all a bad year. And let's put Star Trek on the back burner for another decade and let it cool off and then restart it. Although we were talking that there is some rumor that they're kind of waiting for Kurtzman's contract to completely run out.
And I don't know when that is. Yeah, I heard that too.
Talk about bringing that. I know they're still pushing that Archer for as Federation President show.
Yeah, President.
Which I think really has potential because it's a different take. It's an area of Star Trek that we didn't ever get to see. And I think there's enough nostalgia, even though Enterprise wasn't as well liked as many of the other ones. I think in comparison to the current stuff, I think a lot of people looking back and go, geez, I wish we had Enterprise back.
Yeah.
I think, and Scott Bakula is the right age. I think, he's not too old, but he's not, I think it could work. I think if you
honestly,
did,
I'd rather see President Archer than year 1.
West Wing meets Star Trek.
Yes.
That's kind of the idea that they're talking about. So it's not going to be a space adventure. It's going to be more of a political drama set in the Star Trek universe. Yeah. And I think it could be really good if it's well written and it's thought out, and they get people that understand Star Trek.
If it's Andor in Star Trek, I'm 100% for that.
I think even Disney, because I think even Disney realizes that they because aren't they adding a third season now? They're talking about
and then I'm like, no, you have something perfect and good and excellent. Just leave it as this nice little.
Well, as long as I don't mind them doing a third season of Andor, as long as they continue with the quality,
And they never do. Rizzo, how many times has this happened? Like over the seasons, quality just.
Yeah, well, no, I mean both seasons of Andor were excellent. I don't think the second one.
Yeah. Okay, the first two, like if the showrunners have a vision and they're like, this has to happen over this much time.
I know what you're saying. They always, when they try to do the add-on, it never really.
But it's the Lost. I call it the Lost syndrome. Lost originally was supposed to be a 3-season show, and they had a 3-season arc. And then they said, surprise, guys, you got 6 seasons or whatever it ended up having. And suddenly they were like, stretch, stretch. And it tanked. It just was
Yeah,
horrible.
I mean, Babylon 5 did the same thing when they went into that last season. They should have
Yeah,
ended it
a little bit.
at their season 4, and then they did that last one, and it was like not really great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'll watch it unless, you know, I mean, we'll see what happens.
All right, let's see. Moving on here. Oh, Project Hail Mary. So Project Hail Mary has opened. I am seeing excellent reviews. It has a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty freaking good. This thing cost $200 million to make, and its opening weekend, just the opening weekend, it's coming in around 65 million. Now, here's the thing, Rizzo. Here, I want your opinion on this. The industry standard is 2.5. 2.5 is your break even. So 2.5, it costs 200 million. So it has to make 500 million to justify its cost. It only pulled in 65 million. And it'll probably get there over time. Like, it hasn't had its worldwide premiere yet, but I don't know, man. Rizzo has the era of the theatrical blockbuster, the time when a big name, and in this case it's Ryan Gosling, but when a big name could carry a $200 million movie, is that over?
I think you're probably right. I think COVID put the nail in a lot of those coffins, in the sense that you know, people stopped going to the theater. It was already on a downward slide anyway, and I think people just stopped going to the theater. And you know, we can get a very similar. We've talked about this before. We can get a very similar experience at home,
Yes.
without the cost, without the annoying
Without other
other
people making noise
viewers,
during the week. Yeah.
and you can
Stop,
stop
go
it.
back,
You go to the,
get a
you know
snack.
what I'm saying? It's like home theaters are even isn't even a really.
And
It's like everybody has a
I'm
home theater
gonna
now.
wait to see that movie at home. I'm not going out to
I
the
will
theater.
say I would consider going if somebody called me and said, "Hey, you know, I got nothing, you want to go see the movie Friday night or something? You want to go see Hail Mary?" I'd probably go, because I did kind of want to see it. It did look, the trailers look really good for it. But
Yeah.
does it motivate my old ass to go to the theater just to make a point to go see it? No. Because I know the other thing is, we all know it's going to be on video within a month.
And this thing needs to make just exactly. And here's the thing, just for comparison, Avengers Endgame, which I'm sorry, I don't remember what year that was. It did, are you ready? 357 million. It's domestically, just domestically, its opening weekend. And it broke $1 billion in 5 days. This thing only did 65 million. I don't think people go in the theater anymore.
Well, it's a kind of a weird time of year too. This is kind of like a swing. I mean, like we're not at the Christmas
it's not a
push,
summer blockbuster.
and it's not the summer block. But I'm wondering why they decided to release it in March. Seems like a really weird time to release a big movie.
I have no
I'm
idea.
surprised they didn't wait till, like, you know, maybe May or June or even July. Again, I'm not in this. I don't know anything about that stuff, like why they do what they do. So, in fact, I'll tell you, I didn't even know it had released. That's
yeah,
like,
no, actually, you know what?
I wasn't even aware that I seen the trailer for it, but I wasn't even aware that it had been released. So, yeah, but I think in general, I think movies are in the theater are a dying thing, and
I think so too.
that's a shame. I mean, there's a certain experience to seeing something on a very big screen.
There's a really good movie with a good crowd, and hearing everyone else laugh or scream or whatever is kind of fun. But I also
I think the younger generation is so used to just, I'll watch it on my phone.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, I'm amazed at what people are doing on their phone. Like, I can't. I'm old. To watch videos on here is annoying. I need a bigger screen.
Oh, I don't mind watching videos, but I could not watch a full-length movie on this.
No way. I watch an iPad, the next size up. So I got, what, 7-inch iPad, whatever, the mini. I can do that on a plane.
Yeah.
Am I sitting at my house doing it? No, I'm watching it on my 65
inch on TV like a normal person. All right, last piece of news tonight. Buffy. No Buffy.
No,
sorry,
yeah,
no
I
Buffy.
did hear about that. Poor Alex.
Yeah, the Buffy
was very upset
not
about
picked
that.
up by Hulu. The news came from Sarah Michelle Gellar herself. She broke it on fans. Apparently, there's only a few minutes of Buffy in the pilot, and then the rest of the story was carried by the younger characters, and apparently they didn't carry it far. And they did a rewrite to have more Buffy in it, but for some reason it just isn't happening. Hulu cited expenses. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping maybe some other network might try it. Reasons that I don't completely understand. Robert Meyer Burnett, who's a Star Trek guy, he posted a supposed script or a leaked script. It read like Buffy. It like I didn't see anything that
I
jumped
wouldn't
out.
know. I never watched that show, so I mean, I'm nothing
Yeah.
against it. It just wasn't something I was interested in. But I know it has a huge. I understand it has a huge fan base.
Huge,
And
yeah.
again, it's another thing that Joss cut his teeth on. That and Angel,
Yes.
Angels,
Yes.
that was called them. And so yeah, I don't know. It's too bad. I mean, but if it was meant to be, maybe it was meant to be. I don't know.
Meant to be. I don't know. Fans were also incensed that the show was scrapped by an executive who claimed that he was proud that he had never seen an episode of the show. And they are going after him hard on social media. I don't know, man.
Well, I mean, that's unfortunately the people that are making these decisions are not fans of the shows,
which would explain so much about Star Trek now.
Oh yeah, clearly,
and maybe some Star Wars too.
I mean, when Kurtzman took over Star Trek, he was very open and upfront with the fact that he never watched the show. He doesn't know the show. He doesn't want to hire anybody that knew the show because he wanted this fresh take on it.
Yeah, you want a fresh take? Nope, sorry, that is bad news. That is just bad.
Fresh take is one thing, but you need to
you can get a fresh take from people.
But you need the knowledge of the past to build the foundation. You can't just build it whatever you want and say make it work. Now I know all his shows have their own fan base. I don't think it's what Paramount wanted it to be. But yeah, that's where we're at. I mean, it's Sergeant Legacy's not going to happen. They have made that abundantly clear. They're never going to do Legacy. So I don't know. That's just kind of, it would be better than what's been produced currently. But anyway, yeah.
Star Trek needs a little vacation, and then
I agree. I think it needs to be set aside for a while. I think the franchise
all new writers
is kind of dead.
Yeah,
unfortunately, but we have the old stuff. We still have the original series. We still have Next Gen.
I can go
Deep
back
Space
and
Nine. We can go watch all that stuff.
I can go back and watch Next Gen.
That's it. That's it. You got all the old stuff that was good, well written, thought out, thought well. Whatever. How do I put it?
All right, that was a lot of news tonight. Rizzo, tell us about the Galileo.
So the Galileo, we closed out Sunday at noon. This past Sunday, we had if you guys, hope some of you got to see it. We had 2 hours of Kudas and Doug Drexler and Darren, and even James popped in for a while.
Let me actually pull up the Kickstarter right
now. And we ended up really close to the 300,000 mark. We ended up at $298,763.
and I think it was like $298 last I checked.
Yeah, $298. So, but here's the thing: if you are still interested in maybe picking up some of these smaller prizes or gifts or whatever you want to call them. It's like t-shirts, hats, pins, patches, glasses. All that stuff will be available shortly after kind of a pledge thing that you can do. So kind of watch the space for that. We'll be promoting that. We're just taking a little break, taking a breather after it was a lot of work. It was a very busy month to get all that stuff done and promote it. So we're very happy where we are. Building construction is going to start, I think, in a few days. So that's on the way. And now, like I've been telling, the real work's going to start now, because now we got to make sure you get the building not only built, we have to have the interior, all the electrical, the AC done, all that stuff, and then work on the detailing stuff. And we're still trying to get that volume wall. And Dave, we seem to think we might have a path to that, to do that, at least something. So all good news. Really, we're very happy, and thank you everyone that pledged. And we hope we'll see you either in June at the 60th anniversary or in September at the christening, which is also going to be a really cool weekend.
The dedication of christening.
The dedication. Yeah, we're actually going to have them hit the nose with a fake champagne bottle.
That'll be fun. I already have customers emailing me and saying I was not part of the Kickstarter, but if I come to this, because they know it's Ticonderoga.
Yeah.
Will there be a ceremony for us? And I'm like,
so are they talking about the 60th or September?
September.
Okay, September. I don't know what the. Yeah, it's still a Ticonderoga weekend, so yeah, there'll be
Yeah,
stuff that is
there'll be stuff.
specific to the people who pledged for specific things.
Yep,
Like
and then
there's
there'll be
dinners
stuff
and
for the
pizza
general,
parties
for the
and stuff.
common man.
I think
Stuff for
there's
the common man.
yeah, there's going to be stuff because you're still going to have. I think you're still going to have photo ops and stuff with George and Walter and that are separate from
Yeah,
what we.
they want a Galileo event.
Well, I
see.
mean, the Galileo will be there, and they'll be there to they can see
It'll
it.
be open.
Yeah.
You'll be the first ones to tour it. Have fun,
Yeah.
guys. Have fun.
Yeah, exactly. So I know there was a lot of questions about people asking if it was going to be available to be seen in June. That is a big no, unless you have bought one of the special packages where you're getting a photo with Bill and you and stuff like that.
Yeah, although you
There
never
are
know,
there will be no
we
special
traipsed a
tours
tour
because
up
it
the
will not,
street, you know?
it won't be on site. It's still going to be in storage.
No, it's not on site.
So sorry
It is
guys.
an
We're
undisclosed
coming in June
location.
and hope to see the Galileo. It's probably not going to happen. In fact,
All right, Rizzo, what are we drinking tonight?
So since we're talking about Firefly, drink called Firefly. Very easy. Lemon or regular vodka, grapefruit juice, and a little grenadine. And you kind of pour that grenadine right down the center so it pools at the bottom and you get that nice kind of simple, kind of a refreshing drink. So it's sort of like it's basically like a screwdriver without orange juice. So anyway, yeah, so that was, I think, everything, right? Oh, I did want to tell you, Mary Beth, I did start watching Paradise.
Oh, okay.
I got through the first season. I just started watching like 2 episodes into the second season.
Oh, you liked it well enough to go into season 2. That is a win right there.
Yeah, the only thing the first episode of season 2, I thought was a huge it was like a letdown. I thought it was like, this is how you come into the second season. Was this? I don't want to give away anything.
Season 2 is like jumping around to different people, and then we're all going to converge. And
I assume that's where they're working on, but I just thought, you left this kind of this cliffhanger sort of thing at the end of season 1, and you really want to pick up with that story, and it goes to this completely random story.
Yeah, and so
I'm like, this should have been a second episode, not a first episode.
Yeah, so you've been to Graceland, and the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, why did they choose Graceland?
I know. Well, there's a connection too, because he named his daughter after Elvis. She's Presley. So there's another Elvis connection there. So I don't know. Maybe the writers of the show are Elvis fans.
Yeah, maybe. I just thought it was the weirdest thing. I was like, why there? Why that location?
Well, no, because maybe it was a place that I don't know.
Because it makes so much more work for the team, because now you're recreating a known tourist attraction.
I didn't think of that, but you're right. That's true.
They rebuilt the damn house. Like she's in Graceland. She's in the house. And I'm like, why? It could have been any rundown motel. Just
that's a good point. I guess you'd have to ask the writers that when they if you ever get
I've got to know why. I mean, is there?
That's a good point. I did not. Those of you that I did not think of that, but you're right. They could have made it anywhere and just done any random mansion or something.
And the thing of it is I'm not like James. I don't know anything about Graceland, so
I'm like,
I don't know. Accurate? Like, is this right? Is this?
I don't know anything about it. No, couldn't tell you. So anyway, I just want to let you know that I did start.
And they're running around, they're doing things in the house, and I'm like, you're playing with Elvis's piano, you're playing with Elvis's knives, you're cooking with his pots. Like, what? It's just so weird. It's so weird.
It is strange, but yeah, I don't know. It's not a bad show. It's odd and a little frustrating at times.
It can be frustrating when you get to Mailman. That's a really good episode. All right.
Anyway,
here we go.
Right. Firefly. So at AwesomeCon last Sunday, they announced, of course, you guys know that Fillion was going around collecting the old cast with a big announcement. He guaranteed it was not going to be a podcast. It wasn't going to be just an event at a con. I think he'd race lids off. So we all were pretty much thinking it was going to be a reboot of the TV show. There was also a lot of talk and chatter about an animated series, which is what it turned out to be. Which will be voiced, of course, by the original cast, with the exception of Ron Glass, who's no longer with us. It takes place during the time between the end of the TV show and the beginning of Serenity, the movie. So Wash is still alive,
Wash back. Yes.
And Book is still alive. So they're gonna recast Book because they have to, but all the other characters are going to be on board.
And it sounds like they're all in.
Yeah, and it sounds like, what I found, it's like, why did it take so long? At first, I was kind of bummed I'll be honest with you. So I went through kind of this emotional, I don't say roller coaster, but first I was like bummed. I'm like, oh, I really wanted to see another It Brought Back. And then I thought about it and I said to myself, if they bring it back live action, they're gonna screw it up because it's Disney and they don't. Whedon gave, by the way, gave his blessing on this, and Foxes, they're all everybody. They've gotten the okay from all parties that need to okay this, so it is greenlit across the board.
We
as
should,
far-
Rizzo, we should be crystal clear with this. This is not a done deal.
No,
This is
it's not
not a done
100%
deal.
done deal. I think they're
They
still
are-
looking.
They're looking for a home. They're looking for a network to pay
Yeah,
for
now
all
why
of
they
this.
wouldn't put it? Why Disney owns it? So I don't know, but I guess they've gotten everybody's okay to make it.
Yes.
So they just
And they
need.
have an
Sure, I
animation
can't believe
house
anybody
in
would be,
mind.
whether it's
Yeah.
Netflix or Prime or somebody, be dumb enough to turn this down.
I mean, but they just turned it. But see, here's the thing: they just turned down Buffy. So
I think the Buffy thing was a little different. The Buffy wasn't reusing all the original cast. It wasn't the
using
original
Buffy. It was
storyline.
using new kids. Yeah.
Yeah, and animation is cheaper than live action, so cost to produce is lower. So I'm optimistically hopeful or whatever that this will happen.
Yeah, I am too.
They already have an animator to do it, which is
Yep.
so I
They have
so I was
they
looking,
got the rights.
so
They
there's
have the
been
rights.
over the years, there's been some different, so like this is like
yeah, here we
some
go.
concept art from like 2 or 3 years ago of people talking about. So this is how long an animated series has been in the works, or at least been talked about.
And
But here's some,
we
and
should
there's
also
some
note
other
that there are
similar
some-
what's that?
we should know that there are comic books. Like they did do the story
Yes.
continued.
They did
via
continue
comic.
the
So there
story.
is
They have,
illustrations.
and they have about 9 novels.
And they have about
This
9
is another
novels, so-
another version. However, and apparently, from what I understand, they're calling the novels canon.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I've read them
maybe
all, of
this will be
course.
the novels acted out then, because
So this is the company.
This is my favorite.
Yeah, this is
That
the company
looks
that
good.
actually will be doing it. It's called Shadow Machine. So this is the concept art that they released at AwesomeCon. I actually really like this. I think it looks
do
really
too.
good. I think if they use this this animation drawing, whatever you want to call it, I think it'll work really well.
Yeah, I agree. I like that a lot. I think that
So
looks
I
so
think
good.
yeah. So I
It's
mean, a lot of
almost-
people,
yeah.
there's a certain bunch of people that just won't watch animated stuff. Whatever. My thing is, I don't care if it's animated or live action, as long as, again, the story writing's there, and they've already got. That was the other two things
They have script.
They have the two showrunners for this are people that they worked on. They wrote original scripts for the show, so they already know how to write. So, and I forgot their names off the top of my head. I got to look it up.
Yeah, they were known quantities. I don't know them, but I knew the work they did. So I was like, okay. They
Yeah. I forgot who they were, their names, but
That's all right.
but anyway, yeah. So anyway, it's got a lot of things going for it, is what I'm trying to say. And it hopefully works out. Well, how long it's going to be, I don't know.
I don't. It's a series. I mean, let's try it for one whole season and go from there. So this is going to pick up where the show left off, but it's going to be before the movie Serenity.
Yep.
So it's that little gap of time. And I actually watched Serenity last night to sort of reacquaint myself, and I actually do not have a good sense of how much time that was.
No, they never really said. Anara, of course, had left at that point, and so had Shepherd Book, and we didn't see that on the show. So there could be years between. We don't know really. So they kind of left a certain gap. And at the end of this, I actually routinely rewatch the show, and I just go through and watch all the way through the movie. Just
it's only like 14 episodes.
It's not much, but I just routinely. But it's just so good that it's just one of my all-time favorite shows. I mean, I got it tattooed on my arm. Kind of hard to see, but I have Serenity on my arm, so she's always with me. So anyway, yes. So that's the thing. So I mean, the show. We could talk about the show originally. People. I mean, I'm sure everybody on here knows.
I mean, I think everybody knows what it is. What I'm wondering though is this a missed opportunity? Because if they had, is it more interesting to see more of the same? Like it's just gonna pick up where the show left off, and we're gonna kind of see more of the same. And we know where they're going. Like we know the end game for these characters.
Right.
So would it have been more interesting to actually pick up? I mean, I know no wash, I know, but to pick up after the movie, because then we'll see how does Zoe cope with losing Wash. Let's see Summer Glau all grown up and now in control of her powers, and let's see how does Mal look
I think
older? Has he finally settled down? Is
I
he
think
still?
I think if they had done live action, they would have had to do that because of they've
Well,
all
yeah,
aged.
it's just who they are. Yeah.
But I think the only way I think Nathan was like, there's no way he was going to do it without Alan.
Yeah. Agreed.
And without Wash, I mean, you could try to be lame and say, "Oh, this is Wash's twin brother, and now he's with us," or and
I
or
get that,
something
and
stupid like
sci-fi
that.
does
But
weird shit like that.
I don't
Yeah.
think that would have worked. You could have
But
brought
it
him
gives
in.
you more opportunity for growth of the characters, because right now we're not going to see any growth of characters. We're going to see this. They have to be stagnant because they have to be who they were and go where they're going to go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, again, we're talking. It's an animated show, so I mean, I think you're just going to see adventures. You're not going to see necessarily any kind of character changing. I think you're just going to
The
see
most we're
more
going to get
adventures.
is we'll maybe see why Book left Shepherd, and
Yeah.
we'll maybe see why Inara left.
Yep. Again, some of that was addressed in the novels. So, and I think some of the novels, a couple of, not every one of them was great, but most of them were pretty good and well written enough that they sounded like Firefly. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? If you read it and you could hear their voices and they talked like they talk on the show, the storylines kind of fit. So there's a plenty of material there, I think, to make, who knows, 2 or 3 seasons. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think it's going to go.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to go on, for a very long time, but
what was the timeline on Miranda? It was a while ago though. When did everybody die on Miranda and the Reavers got created?
that was what it must have been. It was, I think they said it was, in the movie, she said, "Yeah, I think Kaylee says it. I remember them here asking for settlers to settle on Miranda a few years back."
So just a couple years.
So I think it obviously it had to have taken place before the original show aired because they already had Reavers.
Yeah, that's right. They had
So it's at least
to explore there.
It's sometime between the end of the war and when we first meet our characters. So I'm gonna guess. But it had to have been around long enough that people like the legend or the whatever you want to call it of the Reavers, they say, "Oh, it's just stories," that was filtering to the central planets, that people were being, basically attacked on the outer. So yeah, that was the. But the clear thing, I mean, Whedon obviously had this whole thought. I mean, that because to have the Reavers and then the way they brought it in Serenity, he had to have known that it was the alliance that created that, the situation.
Yes.
So he had that already in his brain when he wrote the stuff. So
I'm so curious to know what happens after the movie. Like, how does the Alliance take it when they're outed as having caused Miranda created?
Well, there's definitely material there for more stories.
Is there political fallout?
I mean, there's a ton of stuff.
Change?
But I think they did it because you can't. I think they absolutely had to. I think it was a mistake to kill Wash off. I mean,
I completely agree.
I think it was a huge error on his part. I think the way he felt it was this was closure. I think he did it on purpose to say, "This is the end, guys. There is no more. There's not going to be no more of this show," because in his mind it was done. Nobody was going to make it. I mean, of course, you got to remember that movie was 2005.
Yeah,
that was 11 years ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah,
but the show was like 26.
I mean, when I say 20 years ago, am I saying 11? It's 21 years ago. The movie.
21. Yeah, so the show was 2002 and the movie was 2005. So 21 and 20 math is hard. 23.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. At this place, there's more for them to go if they explore a different timeline. But it'll be good to see Wash. I like Wash.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely one of the favorite characters of all of them. I think I love Book. Don't get me wrong, but I think if anybody you could probably miss, you probably would. Okay, they could have moved on without
Book.
Book,
Yeah, I agree.
but I don't think they could continue on without Wash. Now, maybe they'll do that. Maybe if the animated series is a success and they say, okay, you know what, we're kind of done enough up to we got to get the Serenity, and then after maybe that's a good place to say, okay, that's the next series, so to speak, is the post Serenity storylines. Like
Yeah,
you said, what happens in the Alliance. You kind of got the impression that the Alliance wasn't damaged severely by
yeah,
the
that's true. That's
revelation
true.
that most people just like, look at all the horrible and atrocities that we hear in this country, and people just keep moving on with it.
That's true.
There's
Sue just said, as character deaths go, Wash's loss is pretty devastating. I just rewatched it last night, Sue, and I was kind of surprised. My memory was of Zoe going, "Come on, baby," and saying it to him a bunch of times. "Come on, baby, we got to go," and not accepting it right in that moment. And then I think Mal dragged her out. And then last night I watched it, and she like says it once, and she leaves. And I was like, "That's not how I remember it being. I thought she stayed there for a while."
Yeah, I
I don't know,
mean,
man. I want she's got fallout that she is not has not dealt with, and they don't discuss it or
well,
address it.
you gotta remember she's a war vet.
I
She
know,
saw a
I
lot
know.
of death, both of them did, and I think that's where that strength came from in the end of that movie, when he said, "We gotta go," and that's when
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
he was
she
always,
snapped.
remember,
Yeah, she
he was
snaps him back
her
into work mode. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
he was her, not only her superior, but you could tell that she really leaned on Mal heavy
Heavily.
for guidance and what to
Yeah,
do. Um, so like when he grabbed her, he said, "We got to go." She immediately snapped into her
yeah, she
military
snaps into it.
because she
I
probably
had a
saw many
memory,
people,
I
not her
guess, faulty
husband.
memory of her really shaking him, like shaking Wash a couple times to try to get him to. I guess wrong. I don't know, or maybe I don't know. It's so
Yeah,
weird.
well, people, you
Mandela
remember
effect.
things
Yeah,
wrong.
Bill says Mandela effect. I have a Mandela memory.
Well, I mean, I think it's just how you yeah. When was the last time you saw the film? I mean,
Oh
I've
my.
watched it. I don't
Well,
know.
I
At
saw
least
it
I've probably
actually.
seen it
When
at
did
least
we do
10 times.
Firefly on this show? Like
It's been a
one of our
while.
first
It was
seasons.
years ago. We did both. We did Firefly, and I think we did Serenity separately, I want to say. But
Uh,
it's been a few years since we
it's
touched
been a
Firefly.
few years, so
Yeah.
that's how long it's been. So yeah, this should be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Again, I noticed how in his video, Nathan Fillion put out a video saying what we're going to try to do, and he was saying, "Yep, we got the rights, we got Joss's blessing, we got a script, we've got showrunners, we've got an animation house, everyone's on board." But I noticed how he really emphasized, "We're going to try to do this. It's not a done deal yet." And it
No,
also
like
sounds like
they
they're
don't have a home.
leaning they have a home. It sounds like they are leaning on us, the fans, to kind of, use social media to kind of push and help make this happen. Um, so I want to see now, like, how's that going to work? Do we all just randomly start?
Well, I
posting
did know
for it?
that it's now become like one of the most watched Hulu shows.
Oh, is it
It's on
really?
Hulu, yeah. It's one, like, all of a sudden it had a resurgence ever since the announcement of people watching it on. Now it's not saying it's the most watched show on Hulu, but it definitely had a huge jump. Um, I've been watching it on Blu-ray because I have so many different copies of the series. I have more
Well,
copies of that than I do of Star Trek. Um, but I think I'm like I said, I'm optimistic that it's going to happen because I think there's such a huge force behind it. So many people want this. And I'm not saying that their fandom's any different than any other, but this has been one that it amazes me that it's taken anybody. And I don't know why Fox, who owned it for years, never did anything when seeing what a huge following it had.
they never believed in it, not from the get-go. You remember, and we
No,
talked about this when we did our episode on Firefly. They put it on whatever night, Friday night, whatever, and then they kept preempting it. They preempted it for sports. They preempted it for an Adam Sandler movie.
yeah,
Like ran the episodes out of order, so you never saw the
right.
pilot as the
They ran
pilot.
Train Job first
They ran
instead of the
Train Job
pilot
for
for the
yeah.
2 hour pilot.
They
Um,
just treated it poorly from the get go, and then of course it never found a footing. It never found a fan base in that moment, and they still think of it the same way.
I
as a
tell you, yeah,
player.
but you know, it even in those short, even with all that, it still grew a huge. Now I think it really took off. There was a huge fan base for it, and they never showed all the episodes. By the way, they didn't. They only showed 10, and they killed it before even every episode aired. They didn't even
But
let it
who
run
has all
out.
14? We don't know. I'll
But
go look.
Sci-Fi Channel ran it a year or two, like a few years later.
Hmm.
Sci-Fi Channel ran it, and of course they ran them all. I remember I did watch it. I saw the trailers for it. I said it looks interesting. I watched the very first episode on Fox when it aired, which was Train Job, and I was like, "This is different." You know, wouldn't say I was pulled in right away until the one scene where Mal's trying to give the money back to the thug, and the guy's like, "Just keep it, use it to run away. You know, we're gonna come after you." And then he kicks him, and he goes sucked into the engine, and he dies, and he gets the
Yeah.
next guy up. That was the moment I could honestly say when I fell in love with that show. It's gruesome, but it was just so I just didn't expect it because you just never saw that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It was just like because you always think of that, oh, like screw you, you know what I'm saying? But the characters never do it, and he did, and that's why I fell in love with it.
I was reading the cast kind of knew the series was doomed from the start. Like Alan Tudyk was doing an interview and he was saying that like they kind of felt like they were always on the cusp of being canceled, but they would only just get like 1 or 2 episodes at a time. They didn't order a whole season. They ordered it by the episode. But he knew it was bad because like usually on a set, they feed you. Like if you know, there's like a place for lunch. Fox wasn't feeding the cast. So they had to go, usually in costume, because they didn't have time to change into regular clothes and then change back into costume. They had to go like across wherever they were filming to like whatever the commissary was over to eat. And they would just sort of shovel something down and come back. He goes, that's not usually how it is. Usually there's food over on your set. So you can eat.
Yeah, the craft services.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
craft
then
services
Jill
was the thing.
State said, "Oh, we were like the underdog," and she goes, "And the executives never came to the set. Like the executives never visited the set." She goes, "Every other show I've ever been on, the execs stopped by. They never stopped by on Firefly." And she said, "I knew we were doomed from the start."
Yeah, it's really a shame that they never. I don't know why they even ordered it in the first place if they weren't going to get behind it and at least give it a shot. Yeah, that's right, Billy. Family Guy had been canceled at least twice, and they brought it back. In fact, that's how you talk to interviews with Seth MacFarlane. He's like, they canceled Family Guy. He created the American Dad to replace it, and then they brought Family Guy back, and he goes, "Now I'm doing 2 shows. I don't even want to do 2 shows. Now I got to write for 2 shows."
Oh, the other thing that Jill State said was one time she films, and she's driving home from work one night, and one of Fox's other shows was having this huge premiere party with like a red carpet and press. And they're like the actors were like walking the press line and doing all that stuff. And she was like, "We didn't get that. Oh well, I guess I should pack my stuff up. I don't think we're gonna make it." Like they just knew. The whole cast just knew.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was very done. The funny thing about it is they put some money because that set was actually pretty amazing and done.
Yeah.
Like most sets are not, because they actually built the whole interior of the ship as one continuous thing. Like it wasn't like little sets like Star Trek.
Firefly set tour, just like the Star
You
Trek.
could walk. You could go right from the bridge all the way down to the cargo bay in one shot. Yeah, it was all built just like it is on the ship. And that was unusual and probably fairly expensive. I think to do it that way. So yeah, it was all one. You could go anywhere in the ship and just walk through it like it normally was. And they did. One of the things is particularly on the movie, but they did it on the show too. There's tons of little Easter eggs that they stuck in there, particularly in the galley area. If you look in the background, there's little things. I know there's a Han Solo frozen in carbonite somewhere in there. They put stuff in there, so this crew was having fun with it. But yeah, it really was a shame the way it was treated. Because but even after that fact, let's just say, okay, they made a bad decision, and then it continued, and then the fan base was there, and even when Sci-Fi picked it up, and they could see the numbers Sci-Fi was getting from people watching it, and the constant, Facebook groups of Bring Back Firefly and the merch sales. Here's a show that was 14 episodes, didn't even get full run. The movie was there because Joss did it for the fans because he
Yeah.
felt he owed it to them for
Yeah.
some closure.
Yeah.
And the merch sales for that is still up. I mean,
As
it's
well.
just
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
people are still buying models and figurines and all kinds of, and Funko Pop apparently is huge for Serenity stuff. So it's crazy, and you think somebody at some high level would go, maybe there's something here. Maybe we should look. We look at we're retapping. What are they going to bring
I
back?
don't
Like they're going to bring back shows like Knight Rider and stuff
yeah.
like that. I mean, come
Actually,
on.
well, they're no more the studio execs are no more prescient than any, like, if they were fans, if they sat down and would actually watch TV every now and again, they might have a better understanding, but they're no more prescient than anyone else. Like, they can't tell what's going to do well, and I don't think they pay any attention to the data when it comes back in, like,
They're,
people like this.
it's kind of like at work where I talk about this, where we have this like senior leadership, and then you have middle management, and then you have the rest of us that are kind of down in the trenches getting everything done.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything, but there's like a wall
There's a
between
disconnect.
management and senior.
Yeah.
So senior leadership, not that they're bad, it's just
They
that they're
just don't know what's
completely
really going
clueless
on.
as to what's going on in the trenches.
And that's
And they're
100%
making
true
decisions
anywhere you
based on
go.
this like disconnect. And I think that's similar to what happened. I think these execs are up there and they're looking at Nielsen ratings, and they're looking at numbers, and they're not looking at, go to a freaking convention.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Talk to these people.
Yeah, exactly. Bill says network execs don't like to stick their necks out. That is true. The bottom line will always be money. And this one was a little expensive, I think, and they just didn't want to carry it for a couple of seasons,
Well, that was the Paramount was like that with Star Trek, especially because back in the day,
Sci-fi always gets the expense.
Munoz didn't like Star Trek, and he didn't see any value in it when when he was in charge of Paramount CBS. And so I mean, like, but none of them want to have the legacy of the big bomb. They spent a ton of money and it bombed, and I think it's always that worried. And it's not so much that they think it's always it's a self thing. You know what I'm saying? They're like, I don't want to, because I'll lose my job.
They have a slight get out while you're ahead mentality.
Yeah. And which is amazing that some of these people have had their jobs, these showrunners that have really destroyed, AKA Kurtzman and Kennedy. What is it with people with K's as first? But I'm like, it's like, well, how has she had her job after so many bombs with Star Wars? How the hell did she not get shit canned right from the get-go?
She woke up and I think stepped herself out before she got shit canned.
Her contract was up, I think, too. And I think it's pretty much obvious she wasn't going to get renewed after.
And I think Kurtzman should do the same. But
yeah, I have to say, I was a little angry that he was accepting that Saturn Award for Star Trek.
On behalf of
really, you have all the next gen characters are in the back row, and Starfleet Academy's up front, and I'm like, come on, that's not what Star Trek. That's not the legacy of Star Trek. The legacy of Star Trek is Jonathan Frakes and William Shatner, and you know what I'm saying, and those guys should have been accepting that award, in my opinion.
Yeah. Although Frakes is still very involved in Trek and has directed a lot of this stuff,
and he's very talented.
He defends it. He's, I don't know, but then maybe you do when they pay your money, when they pay your mortgage, you defend it. So,
but Jonathan, they call him the mayor of Star Trek. It's probably a very apt, I think, accurate in a way of a description, because he does seem to be kind of a gathering force around him. He's a very talented director. There's no question about it.
I usually enjoy his episodes.
And he's a very interesting character in himself. You know what I'm saying? Is anybody who's been seeing him at the set, it's well aware that Jonathan is a bit of a tornado when it comes to the fans and engaging with the fans. So, and I think Nathan is the same way for Firefly. I think Nathan and to some degree Alan has always been kind of, the other ones have kind of they had their other jobs. They kind of felt, we saw Jewel in a few things. We saw,
Jewel's been around. Oh,
Jewel's been doing stuff,
Jane's been in a bunch of
and
stuff.
Gina Torres been doing stuff,
And of
and
course,
Alan
Marina
certainly.
Barkaran.
Alan and Nathan are probably the two
I mean,
most
Alan is
successful.
killing it in
Oh,
every single
Alan's
thing he
between his
does, and
voiceover work and
Marina's
everything
blowing
else,
up.
but Nathan has
But
too.
Marina
Nathan
blew up from Deadpool, so you know.
yeah, she's been doing stuff. She's been popular. I remember she was on Stargate for a while,
She was.
and stuff like that. So they all. I think the only one that really didn't have a huge was the kid that
Simon?
played Simon, guy that the kid. He's an adult. Well, it's adulthood now.
Can't think of his anything else.
Because even Summer Glau had, she was on the Terminator Chronicle there, Sarah Connor Chronicles, and she's done some other stuff. So, but yeah, Nathan and Alan certainly I think were the most successful.
Yeah,
of
Nathan's done a
that
million
group.
things,
And of course Ron Glass had a career prior to this.
Let me look up. Yeah. You know what? This is kind of unusual that a lot of cast members have gone on to do a ton of cool stuff. Usually like one or two blow up, and then the rest of them are just.
I mean, Nathan been around for a long. Nathan was the first Private Ryan.
Yeah, Nathan's been around. I think in Dr. Horrible. Nathan? Who was in Dr. Horrible? Nathan was.
Nathan was in Dr. Horrible, yeah, sure. Yeah. That was another Joss put that together. Yeah.
Simon, the guy playing Simon has done a ton of voice work. Oh, he did Warehouse 13.
Yeah, he was. I remember he was in Warehouse 13.
Stuff.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, as far as being out there and really being a known quantity, between Alan's voice work, and he's like, they're kind of joking that he's become kind of the voice of Disney because he's like in almost every single Disney movie now. Even if he has just one line. What did somebody called him the what was the guy that played Crip? John Ratzenberger now, the new John Ratzenberger. You remember John Ratzenberger was in every
single movie.
Every movie.
Now it's Alan.
Yeah, it's Alan. Of course, you can't even tell because Alan is so his voice is so he's able to change his voice around and do different character voices. But
he's got a funny diction to him, like when he's just talking, and you can hear it in Resident Alien. So sometimes you can just hear it. He's got a funny.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell once you knew it was him, but you could tell it was him, like he did K2SO, in Rogue One.
Yeah, and he did,
in Andor,
and you can tell it's him.
You could tell it's him because of the way he talks.
Once you get,
and he ad-libbed a lot of that. He definitely struck it.
My favorite thing about Alan, his wife choreographs the Peacemaker opening numbers and uses Alan as her guinea pig, and I love that.
That would be funny. I hope she videoed. That'd be funny if she recorded that on her phone. And
there's video out there. If you go on YouTube,
of him doing the Peacemaker dance.
Yeah, doing the Peacemaker dance. Yeah,
that's funny. He's got definitely a good part. I got to meet him once. Like a year or 2 years ago at up in Montreal. And yeah, I didn't get to talk to him very much, but I brought my dinosaurs. I have replicas of the actual dinosaurs that he used in the show. And of course, I had to have a picture with me and holding the dinosaurs. And of course, he's doing it. So it was fun picture. And he did sign it. He said something, and we shall call it this land or something. Not that you can read it, only because I knew that's what he wrote, because he has a horrible signature for autographs. So.
You know who was just on Resident Alien with Alan? Jewel. Jewel was on it with him.
Yep, she was. She had he brought her in a part, and she was an alien. Yep. So, she was her real human part, her human whatever was killed and replaced by the alien.
Yes, she was a fake human.
So,
another show that I miss already. Oh,
yeah, that was a good show, but at least they got 4 seasons out of it. It ran a course.
Yeah, it ran its course.
I don't know where they would have gone with it, because at first I thought they were kind of going a little when they started getting into the grays and stuff, and things started kind of getting a little crazy. But it wasn't a silly show. It wasn't anything you could take too seriously. It was meant to be funny. Yeah. So, but it was done very well. And if you haven't seen Resident Alien, I highly recommend it.
You know what Marina was in that I would like to do someday on this show? Wasn't she in the V remake?
She was, I believe. Yes, you're
She
correct.
was
She
like
was.
the
Yeah.
main baddie. We need to compare and contrast old versus
I
new
have to do a
because
lot of watching for that because I
it'd be a
haven't seen
lot of
I
watching
have
that.
not seen the original since it aired. And
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
she was
think,
in
and I
Gotham.
never
I
watched the
knew she was
reboot.
in
I did
Gotham.
not watch the reboot. I don't know
Where was
why I
that?
didn't watch the reboot, but I didn't watch the reboot. So
And
I'd
then she
have
was
to
on
watch.
Flash.
What's that?
Marina's blowing up. I'm just
Yeah,
looking
no,
at Marina's
she's done a
IMDb.
ton of stuff besides Deadpool.
Yeah. All right.
So, but so anyway, what do you guys out there think of this? I wanted to get opinions from the crowd that's watching. What do you guys think of this revelation that there will probably be, or hopefully be, an animated version of Firefly? And what are your thoughts? I mean, am I the only crazy one that's just a nut for this show?
No. I'm excited. I hope it's good. This has been done before. I know Babylon got an animated follow-up, but I'd rather have something than nothing.
John says he's disappointed. And it
real
wasn't
life.
first, like I said.
Real
I
life.
agree with you, John. I was hoping for a live action, but I think this probably is the better way to go. Because if the live action gets rebooted, here's my thinking. They rebooted the live action and it bombs and it's bad. I think it would taint the original. Whereas I think the animated one, if it's kind of like Star Trek, the animated series, nobody really holds that against. In fact, for years, Gene didn't consider it canon, the original Star Trek animated series. But we all admit, I mean, the stories were good on the animated series, but the animation, the music was hard, and it was really So that's kind of like we don't hold that against the original Star Trek.
No. that particular. So this is so here's the difference though between the Star Trek animation and this animation. The Star Trek animated series was meant for Saturday morning cartoons, and it was specifically meant for kids, and it was a very deliberate, not small,
condensed,
simplifying. It was a very deliberate simplification. This is, I'm hoping, not a simplification.
I think this is going to be. I think this is going to be along the lines. It's going to be. It's not a kid. It's not going to be a kid show. It's going to be. It's going to be made for adults. I think the reason they did animation was the cast is too old or getting of age, so they couldn't really pull it off with a continuation from the end of the series. It would have been what you wanted, in which case now you can't include Wash because he's dead.
He's dead.
And I think that's part of it. Plus, I think the bigger thing is it's much less money to make an animated series than it is live action. You don't have to build a set. You don't have
our argument every time we thought about Lower Decks being canceled. We were always like,
Lower Decks was why that was canceled. I don't know. Again, that's just stupidity. It was such a good show. It was well written. It was well received. And you know why? One of the reasons I think it did so well is because
it was too close to what we wanted.
Well, it was close to what we wanted, but the reason was that you had somebody like Dayton Ward kind of keeping the writers in the guardrails. He was a guardrail for them. You know what I'm saying? He would tell them, "No, this is this is
and
really
none of the other shows have that kind of a guardrail.
Change this, it will fit and it'll work." Mm-hmm. And that's what I think Star Trek has needed. They needed people that at least knew what came before to keep the guardrails on, and at least not necessarily you could have done your 900 years in the future thing, whatever, but you still would keep together with what the original core of Star Trek was. So anyway, that's that. So I'm hoping, because we have Nathan kind of running, in control, and we have some people that knew the show and worked on the show, that I think, and the animation looks good from this Shadow Machine company. I think they can make something work. Now, if somebody's just smart enough to pick it up, whether it be Prime or if Disney doesn't run it, I bet you Netflix or Prime picks it up. Prime has a history of kind of doing more, putting themselves out on a limb, where others didn't. They did it before. They did it with The Expanse. They did it with when Top Gear, when that whole thing fell down in England and the guys came over and they did the Grand Tour. Prime was one of the only ones that really pitched, was saying, okay, we'll give you whatever you want,
Yeah.
So they were smart enough, and they knew what they had there. Anyway, Chris is saying he's never seen the series and the movie, but having watched Nathan and Chris, really? All right, you have homework to do, my friend. You need to go watch Firefly.
Yeah, Chris, watch. It's only 14 episodes.
It's not a big commitment.
Good, fun. You'll chuckle. Like there's moments.
Yeah.
There's good moments.
So
it's
well
fun.
written.
Really
The
well
characters are well rounded. It's just the universe is so deep.
Yeah,
that Josh built. I mean, it's just, and they don't leave you. Even in those 14 episodes, you get a sense that you've known this forever. Like this is just the way it's written. So
it from the first episode.
Yeah, you'll like
you're stepping into a fully developed universe. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so well thought out, and it's not necessarily a place you want to live, but it's not Star Trek where everybody's fed and all that stuff. And
Chris, at least go watch a couple of episodes, and then next week report back and tell us.
Yes, I want to report on what you think. And it better be good.
1 or 2 or 3, and just get wet your toes, dip your toes into it.
And Sarge's saying I haven't seen the entire series, so 1 or 2 episodes. Oh, come on now, people! This is like one of the best sci-fi shows ever made.
10 when it aired, it's only 14 episodes.
I know it's like really I can't. It's like one of the best TV shows ever made. I'm sorry.
It's good TV, and I hate saying that because I'm not a Joss Whedon fan.
Well, Joss, he I mean, aside from his issues, we'll
separate the issues.
But he's not involved in this, so just be aware. He just gave it his blessing to go ahead and do it, whatever control he has. So we'll take that and move on from there. But so that does bring us about to the end of the hour.
We do Roy and Phil here. Roy is doing Battle Beyond the Stars Friday night. You guys remember that show? It was space version of the Magnificent Seven. Oh no, you and I did that show. Rizzo, did we do Battle Beyond the Stars?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Okay,
I think we just did it like a
couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Recently. And then on Sunday, he's going to once again he's been highlighting a web series. You can see it on YouTube. I found it on YouTube. It's called Abnormal Fixation. It's the brainchild of a friend of his, and they've been talking about it. And I hear it's really quite good. It's just past 2 million views. So I think I am going to go check that out. Phil. So March is Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month. So Phil is going to be talking to 5-time Emmy-winning composer Jeff Beal, who suffers from multiple sclerosis himself. When he was first diagnosed, he searched for ways to push back against the effects of MS, and he learned that playing piano engages your neuroplasticity, and that's the brain's ability to rewire itself around areas of damage. So that is going to be a fascinating interview on Captain Phil's Planet tomorrow at 4 p.m. on WUSB Stony Brook. Rizzo, what are we doing?
Who knows? You ask me that every week.
I do, and the answer is always
I don't know. I don't like to commit.
Yeah, we changed our minds 3 times before.
In the meantime, I don't know. I'll leave it to the group. Is there something you guys want us to do that we haven't done? I mean, I know there's been some good ideas, but some of them would take a lot of work. And now that we've kind of gotten through the Galileo stuff, because that was taking up a lot of time.
A little more time. But not really, because now we're going to start doing more.
Yeah, we got to start doing more work. But I had to kick things into gear with getting the electrical stuff. But I know Dave's got a big project at home. He's working on his.
Jan says be the reboot. That'd be a lot of watching, but
yeah, I don't. How many seasons was that?
One.
The original was 3 seasons?
Was it 3? I don't think so. I thought they didn't get much.
Was it maybe just 2? But then again, remember those seasons were 25 episodes.
Yes.
They were not 10 episodes. So if you're talking 3 seasons, that's a lot. Oh,
I guess it did get 2 seasons. I'm sorry, I totally thought
it only got 2. Oh, the reboot got 2, or which one got 2? Both of them.
Both of them. The original one. So this only goes further. It only goes to 12. So season 1, the reboot, season 1 had 12 episodes, and season 2 had 10 episodes. So really, it's not. Oh no, wait, I'm lying. I thought I said reboot. Okay, hang on. I gotta type in Google. The original is everything I just said. The original only had 2 seasons. They were both short. You know, it wasn't a TV show. It was a miniseries. And it was marketed as a miniseries.
Oh, you might be right. Now that you
The
mention it.
V, the reboot. No.
All right.
Right
I
there, the
will. I'll tell
reboot.
you what. If you guys want us to do that, I will start watching.
I will not start watching. I'll just try to remember it. 'cause
I can't. I can't remember. I didn't see the reboot, so I have to watch that. And I kind of remember the original. I remember I liked the original. I was a kid though, because that was what
I
early
remember
80s.
being scared of the original.
Yeah. Well, I mean the uniform.
2009.
But what was the original? It was like early 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah, 80s. Mark Singer and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I guess the reboot's about the same. It says 2 seasons of not a lot, less than 20, less than 15. But still, I don't know if I want to plow through it. It's a lot. That's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, you were the one suggesting it.
No, John Cape suggested it.
Well, whatever. If I'm open to, you guys can always after the show, send messages or whatever if you have something you think we should do, or a movie. Movies are easy because I can watch those.
Movies are easy because we can get them watched.
TV series are long, unless you want us to do like Roy does, where we're dissecting the entire episode of.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, we'll do a single episode from a series, but I cannot watch entire seasons of stuff and know it well enough to sit here and be like, well.
Said I watched the first 15 minutes, wasn't impressed. I have to say, I don't know what you're talking about there.
V, Jeff?
Yeah. A V, I assume. Better talk about V. Better talk about Firefly.
Yeah, it was.
Well, that's the thing. Again, it was going back to the well. Even back then, it was just, I don't know if it really needed to be rebooted.
So. John, what did you reach out to Kenneth Johnson about? About V? What are we talking about right now, John?
I don't know. He's gonna have to send us a message offline, John.
Yeah, send us a message. I'll read.
So you can explain what the hell that's about. I don't know what that's about. The reboot,
apparently, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll come up with something for next week. Always do. But in the meantime, as always, live long and prosper, and may the force be with you always. Good night.